All right, scheduling for call for health. This is after you have already put any information in for a new patient, or if it's an established patient after you brought them into view. As a friendly reminder, make sure that all fields are filled in for new patients, especially the email address. The email address must be put in for all new patients unless they don't have one, but make sure you ask. All right, so let's choose a patient. We'll choose a test patient for our case. All right, we're going to go to scheduling. After you read any pop-ups, just to make sure that they're allowed to schedule. If it says no scheduling, then you must ask an administrator why that is. All right. So in scheduling, just as a reminder, we have several offices, multiple offices to schedule at. Locations include Cape May, Galloway, Manahawkin, Hamilton is no longer a location, Sewell, also known as Washington Township, Summers Point, and Voorhees. Anything below here that says X or Z or anything like that, you don't need to know about, and just know that you cannot schedule a patient for those locations. Okay. Our office has multiple providers. Anyone who says doctor is a doctor. Anyone who does not is a physician assistant or potentially a nurse practitioner. Okay, this is for your knowledge. The vast majority of people who you will be scheduling at Call for Health will be using one of the wizards that we've created for you. This is very easy to do. You click on Schedule Wizard, and you click over here on the templates. We have multiple templates that we've designed. We have many, as you can see. However, the vast majority of the ones that you will use are the ones that say C4H or Call for Health, and they're all the way at the top. Important to realize that the vast majority will either use this new patient template or this established ASAP template. The difference between the two is that the new patient template is for new patients. They will only see a doctor. Okay. Important to know for the new patient template, Dr. Steixner will not see female patients. So if you run this template and it shows a female patient, please do not choose a Dr. Steixner appointment. For established ASAP, this is for a patient who's calling in and they want to be seen immediately. And this goes through everyone, doctors, nurse practitioners, any provider. Okay, so let's say that this patient is a new patient and wants to see a doctor. In order to load the template, after we choose it, we hit this little thing over here. Okay, and then when we're ready to run the template, we click over here on the Find Appointments, this globe, and then we choose whichever date. We ask the patient which one is good for them. As you can see, on Tuesday, for example, there are multiple appointments. VOR is for Voorhees with Dr. Steixner. And again, if this is a female patient, this would not be an appropriate patient appointment, but for any other provider, that would be fine. So we can choose an appointment whenever we wish. We can give them SP is for Summers Point, CAPE is for Cape May, or Cape May Courthouse actually. SE is for Sewell or Washington Township. Let's say the patient wants to have a specific date or can't be seen for a certain date. Well, we can go to a date, and under from date, we can click over here and we can put in one of the shortcuts, such as, well, he only wants to be seen for 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, we can press 2 and W, and this will change the date over here. We put in 3 days, 3D. We can put in 2 months, 2M. That's an easy way to put shortcuts. Or you could just choose a date. Let's say the patient wants to be seen on April 13th. And we can run this template. And then it will pull up all possible dates. And let's say this patient is a new patient who wants to see Dr. Wren at 8:15 at Summers Point, Wednesday, April the 13th. Okay, that's fine. Very important, under comments, there must always be a comment for a patient. We must put in why the patient wants to be seen. Let's say urinates too much. So that way the office will know why the patient is coming. Then you're going to click over here on the actual date and time. And we click over here, and as you can see, it made this appointment. Okay, and that's the easiest way to make the appointment. Now let's talk about if that appointment needs to be canceled. or that patient needs to move the appointment. This is a little bit trickier, but let me show you. So going back to our main screen, we'll start from scratch. We'll pull that patient into our buffer by putting in their information. And it was this patient over here. So let's say, first of all, two scenarios. A patient calls and just wants to know when their appointment is. So you go to the scheduler and you click over here. This little icon will show you this patient's upcoming appointment. And it has April 13th at 8:15 at Summers Point. Okay, very good. And this patient wants to cancel it and make a new appointment. So it's a little it takes an extra step, but you actually have to go to this date. So we said it's April the 13th. April the 13th. And it's going to be in Summers Point. So we're going to click over here for Summers Point. We're going to click over here for providers to open it up. And we're going to choose Dr. Wren because that's who the appointment was. And then we're going to click View Schedules or just hit Enter. And this shows Dr. Wren's schedule. We have to manually click on this appointment. So this patient no longer wants this appointment. In order to make sure that we keep the comments, we're going to highlight it and hit Control-C. That will copy it into our buffer. Another way is you could just write it down, but it's easier if we just copy it. Now that this appointment has been highlighted, we're going to click the X and watch what happens. We're going to say that the patient patient wants to reschedule. Patient reschedules. Okay, and we're going to choose a different appointment. Let's say this patient only wants to see Dr. Schutz, and he only wants to see Dr. Schutz at Cape May Courthouse. Okay, so it's important to realize that while most of our patients will use these call for health templates, sometimes they will choose a particular doctor. Okay, and for example, for our example, this patient is going to be done by Dr. Schutz, MJS, Michael J. Schutz, at Cape, and he doesn't care when it is. So we're just going to pull that template in, and we're going to click on the globe, and we're going to give the patient the different options of when Dr. Schutz is in Cape May Courthouse. And it's important to know that if the patient is not happy, the patient does not want to wait until April 15th, you can always give them the option to either be seen in another office, okay, or to be seen by another provider. It's not ever an issue. And for example, you can choose, if it wants to be seen at Galloway or wants to be seen at Summers Point, or let's say just wants to be seen by anyone at Cape May Courthouse. So this is any provider at Cape May Courthouse. We can choose that, and let's say this is everyone who's going to be at Cape May Courthouse. Let's say this person's going to instead see Megan at 11 o'clock at Cape May Courthouse. Okay, and then we're going to choose this, and important, we need to fill in the comments, but let's pretend I forget to do that initially. So we're going to make this appointment. This appointment has been made, and as you can see, Megan is seeing this patient in Cape May Courthouse on Thursday, March the 31st. Okay, but again, we left out the comments. So it's easier to do it early, but you can do this here as well. You hit Control-V since we copied in the comments, and we're going to click the Save. So now, and again, it's important, every single patient who has an appointment should also have comments. This patient urinates too much. Okay, and now this patient has a new appointment. We're going to X out of this, and I'm going to show you another type of appointment that we oftentimes make. A lot of times, patient will need an ultrasound appointment. Okay, for example, let's say we just canceled an appointment that patient was going to see Dr. Lehrfeld for a renal ultrasound. We just canceled that appointment already. We're going to reschedule this. So we're going to choose Dr. Lehrfeld, TJL, Galloway Combo Ultrasound. That means that the patient will get an ultrasound during his appointment. We're going to choose this template, and we're going to say, let's make it 2 weeks from now, or let's make it 2 months from now. And we're going to click on the globe again, And these are Dr. Lehrfeld's openings for ultrasounds at our Galloway office. Again, it's very important. Under comments, you're going to write that the patient will have a renal ultrasound. And we're then going to click on the appointment. He wants 10:30. And that is going to give that patient this appointment. And you can see it actually made an appointment with the ultrasound as well as with Dr. Lehrfeld. But the patient will show up at 10:30 for their overall appointment. And in the comments, it says renal ultrasound so that our office will know what the patient is actually coming for. And we're going to cancel that out. Another type of appointments, which oftentimes may need to be rescheduled, is a Euro cuff appointment. And again, we have a Euro cuff template for you to use, and this will make it at any office. And let's say the patient needs this in 6 months. And we're going to run this template again. Euro cuff is another type of procedure that is often performed in our office. And just like every other appointment, it's very important to put in under the comments what the actual procedure will be. Because even though the template says Euro cuff, our office still needs to be made aware of this before the patient shows up. Okay, so this brought up Wednesday, September the 14th. And let's say this patient wants to be seen at 8:45 and doesn't care who he sees. And it's going to be, we'll make this with Megan. So again, we're going to put in Euro cuff, and we're going to click over here with Megan. And as you can see, this patient will have this Euro cuff appointment. Don't worry that it says these 2 appointments. The patient just needs to know that he needs to be there at 8:45, or before 8:45 actually, to have the Euro cuff. And then at 9 o'clock, you'll see Megan. But as for the patient's point of view, all he needs to know is that he needs to be there by 8:45, and everything else will be seamless for him. So again, I'm going to cancel this. And once you cancel one of them, it's actually going to cancel both of them because they're linked together. Just a review of the different templates that we have. Established ASAP is for a patient who wants to be seen immediately and doesn't care where it is or who it's with. This new patient is for new patients. And again, Dr. Steichner does not see women. If a patient's having an ultrasound by anyone, this template can be used. A Euro cuff appointment. These other 2 over here, 30-minute procedure and 45-minute procedure, you won't be using too much. However, just so you know, a 45-minute procedure is a urodynamics procedure. So if someone leaves you a note saying, please make the patient a 45-minute procedure for urodynamics, you would use this, and in the comments, you would put in urodynamics or CMG. Interstim, you may use this rarely for patients who have a specific device called an interstim. If they need an interstim appointment, use this template. A lot of these others are not quite as important for Call for Health. However, sometimes if the patient just wants to see any doctor at any office, again, this is also served by the Call for Health new patient. If the patient wants to be seen at a particular office, for example, Summers Point, you can use that. They want to be seen at Washington Township or Sewell, you can use this. If the patient needs to see a particular doctor for a particular procedure, they can go through one of these templates over here. So Dr. Steichner is BLS, for Dr. Hirsch is ALH, Dr. Piskin is MAP, Dr. Schutz is MJS. If a patient for some reason wants to see a PA, you probably won't use these too much, but that's PA. TJL is Dr. Lehrfeld. Over here, ZAMS is Dr. Spence. These templates at the bottom, Horizon templates, we'll be going over in another video. Okay. So again, if a patient wants to see Dr. Hirsch and he doesn't care where he sees Dr. Hirsch, but he knows he needs to see Dr. Hirsch ASAP, we can pull in this template, and this will show you all of Dr. Hirsch's openings. And again, if some of these appointments do not work for his schedule and he decides that, you know what, I just want to see anyone, we can always just move this to established ASAP. In general, established ASAP is probably the easiest template to use and what you should probably use in most cases. because it literally shows you every single opening that every provider has in every office, and it makes it incredibly easy to schedule for patients. So that is scheduling in a nutshell. We reviewed the different providers, the different offices. We reviewed the different templates to use, and we also reviewed how to cancel an appointment, to reschedule an appointment, as well as to show when a patient's appointment is. And again, by clicking this little key over here, it shows us when the patient's appointment is if a patient calls just because they don't remember what office and what time they're supposed to be at their appointment. Thank you.